Alright, so this is my review for The Hunger Games. So, one thing that's interesting to me. Fun fact, well, I don't know if this is a fun fact, but it was a fun fact for me. I had no idea. For the past 7 days, they were live streaming all the Hunger Games movies, this channel. I don't know why, maybe just to promote the new one, I guess. But the point is, I saw it, and then I said, oh, I pressed play for a second on the live stream, and then I was like, nah, I don't want to watch this right now. And then I said, no, I actually do want to watch it. But I want to watch it on my DVD. I want to watch it, from what I have. I want to go into my collection. I got to find the Mockingjay Part 2 somewhere. But anyways, I don't know if I'm going to watch all of them or revisit all of them, but I just revisited the Hunger Games. And there was a reason why I revisited the way I did. And I didn't watch it for everyone on that live stream that I saw on YouTube. Because it was during the match already started. And when I watched this movie, I realized what I really love about The Hunger Games. And it's actually what I love in a lot of movies. What I love in a lot of zombie movies and what I love in a lot of post-apocalyptic movies. What I personally love in movies is the beginning, the setup. The setup is my favorite part of any movie. If the setup is done well, I do not care if we only get 20 minutes of action at the end of the movie pertaining to whatever this big thing is going on, whether it be zombies, post-apocalyptic worlds, Hunger Games, battles, whatever it is. I love the setup. So when I put my DVD and I watched the Hunger Games, I realized this is what I love. This is why I love the Hunger Games. I love the setup. I love them talking about the reaping. I love them talking about the history of everything going on. I love the foreshadowing of Pren waking up having a bad dream about getting picked in the reaping and then her actually getting picked in the reaping. I love it all. I love the moments leading up to the actual Hunger Games. And the reason I say that is because here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to continue and watch all the movies I have now. I might because the first one is so good. It is so good. And these movies, I think, age like fine wine. They're very good. Very good. They did a great job. One thing I will say as well that I noticed from the very beginning is the score. The music in these films are so good at building the atmosphere. It's perfect. They have like these perfect sounds and music in the background. And then they know when to cut the music too. They know when to cut the music. For example, when the Hunger Games starts and they're in the battle, it's like they cut out almost all the sound and they're running to, try to get all the equipment and everything for the actual Hunger Games, and people are getting taken out, and it's like basically like on mute. And I love that. I love that they do that in certain moments of the film. It really kind of brings you in. Another thing I will say is this. Haymitch. I love Woody Harrelson. One thing I know when I started this film, I was like, Woody Harrelson, Haymitch, is just perfect. And I believe that's what the new one is. I believe that the new one is Haymitch's story, if I'm correct. And Haymitch is just so good. Woody Harrelson is so good. And if the new one is about Haymitch, which I'm pretty sure it is, I hope they do some flash forwards of Woody Harrelson so he could be back in, so we could see him again and on the big screen. I just love him. He's perfect. When I watch this movie, Jennifer Lawrence is good. Everyone in this movie is very good. The actors and actresses are perfect. But Woody Harrelson brings something to this film that is just, it's perfect. Like, he makes me want to watch it. And like I said, my favorite part of this movie is the setup. It really is the setup. The Hunger Games is cool, but the setup is just, it's perfect. Like, I love seeing Katniss Everdeen. She volunteers tribute. That's great. But that's a great scene. But the thing is, and a heartbreaking scene as well. But I love the flashbacks when she looks at Peeta, him throwing the bread at her and stuff. Like, there's little things, if you've seen the movie already or you read the books, it's just perfect when you watch the movie the way it's set up to me. And next I want to say the what I would say. Oh, Haymitch. So when she's in the train with Haymitch and she's like trying to get this information out of him, like, how do I survive? How do I survive? What do I do? How do I get sponsors? And she stabs the butter knife into the table, whatever. He's like, great, you killed the placemat. Like, Haymitch is just perfect. Woody Harrelson is just perfect casting. And one of the things I really love is he tells her, he's like, you want to know how you get sponsors? Is you have to get people to like you. He's like, oh, that's not the answer you were expecting. And I just like seeing Katniss's character go through these different kind of trials and tribulations of her like learning how to maneuver and how to actually play the game a little bit to win the Hunger Games, you know. And I think that is why I love this movie. Like I said, the Hunger Games is good. That's what I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue through the series. I've already seen all the movies, of course, but I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch the rest because, like I said, my favorite part is the setup, and after this, it's pretty much not really setup. It's like the second one is a bit of setup as well, but after the second one, then it's just pretty much like they're in the battle of and they're they're in the rebellion and stuff. So I don't know, but I like these characters so much. I might watch the whole series again, but I like seeing the different districts. I like seeing the different districts before the reaping. I like seeing their lives before the reaping. I like seeing how it affects them. And one thing that I forgot when I started watching this movie is that if you do something bad, you steal some bread or you do something like that, they'll put your name in the reaping bucket more than once. So that's one thing I forgot about, which is interesting to me. Other than that, what I will say is Peeta knows how to play the game. Katniss, she's awesome, but it takes her some time to learn how to play the game as far as like politics and learning how to get the sponsors and stuff like that, and make people like her. Even though she's very lovable because she's so real, but it's just like comes off a little bit abrasive sometimes. You just need to it's hard because she's being a realist. You know, she's going into this battle. Her mind is focused on surviving, but then also they want her to be fake and get the sponsors and different things like that, and kind of play up certain parts of their lives. And that's one thing that I think is so interesting, especially with Peeta saying, you know, he has a thing for her, and her pinning him against the wall. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I like how their relationship builds throughout this movie. Like, I just like it. I like it. It's like a very strong friendship, but then it's kind of goes past it a little bit. Like, I like the way it's tested, you know, and you know only one person can win, or that's how it's supposed to be. So I like the idea that Peeta even tells her. He says, like, I want to find a way to prove to them that they don't own me. And I love that line because it's like, you know, that's a foreshadowing for later in the film with the berries. But I like that a lot. And the thing is, do we know if they're both going to do it? But I feel like if you're put in that position, you might as well take the berries than, you know, having to like, you know, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ways. Like that guy who got teared up by those crazy dogs, that is like just horrific. Even now when I watch, I'm like, but I like that Katniss, she put him out of his misery. Like she did that for him. But it's crazy because when you watch it, you think, dang, like that character, he's like the worst. But these are all kids. They don't even want to be here, but they live this life and they have to be here. They are put in this situation, so they have to adapt. And some of them adapt in a way where they kind of lose themselves and they lose their morals at all. And they just gotta turn to monsters to survive. So it kind of sucks. You know, you got Rue in there. She's so small, and you know, it just sucks. There's a lot of things that suck about this whole situation, but I love the way they kind of they stick it to the Capitol basically. And one of the most poetic endings I would say is the, you know, the guy at the end, the way he's fired is he has to eat the berries and he's locked in a room. So I like the way they do that with the Game Master. That was very, you know, I've seen the movie already, but that's one thing that I love about it. I love little pieces like that. And President Snow talking about hope is something that I think is so true. He says like hope is stronger than fear, but contain it. All he was telling him, he's like telling the Game Master, try to contain the hope. And if you don't contain the hope, it could lead to rebellion. It could lead to a lot of different things. And this kind of almost makes me think about Star Wars in a way a little bit, because it's like without hope, there's no rebellion. You know, even if it's just the smallest fraction of people, that hope can grow into a rebellion. You know, so I like that President Snow, and it's interesting because now watching this, after seeing the last Hunger Games movie with the younger President Snow, and it's crazy because I really did like that movie, and I might rewatch it too. I'm not sure. I probably will rewatch it. The movie's very good to me, and it humanizes Snow in a lot of ways in that movie. I'm not gonna lie, it does. I'm not saying I love him, but understanding a young Snow, I mean, I wouldn't even mind them giving us more of President Snow, and like, I wouldn't even mind more stories than that, because I just really love that movie. I really like that movie a lot. I didn't expect to like President Snow's character, but it's not even that I like his character. I understand his character. But now seeing him like this is like, this is interesting. The slippery slope that you can go on. One crazy action takes you all the way down a crazy road, and then now look, he's President Snow, and yeah, and the type of person he is now. But seeing Katniss Everdeen is awesome. I like it. I like her shooting the apple. There's a lot of great moments in this movie that I didn't forget, but it just like, when it happens, you realize why the moments are so great. You know, like she did something where she Haymitch said, make them remember you, and she did. And she got a score of 11. So like she was one of the favorites going into the Hunger Games. So there's a lot of ways that they were able to break the rules and, you know, become the favorites and stuff. But ultimately, I enjoyed it. This movie, if someone asked me if I had to do this out of 5 stars, this is 5 stars. I don't know what is wrong with this movie. If people don't like this movie, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what is wrong with it. On a rewatch at age like fine wine, I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I really did enjoy this movie a lot, and I enjoyed it so much that I might watch all of them. I don't know. I might though. I might continue. If you see another review, then you'll know I'll watch the next one. But anyways, take care. It's Deja, know the name. Spread love and light, and let's sign off in the spirit of Katniss Everdeen with an arrow.